splitting like this to make it up to the top of the table.
It's weird to see, as you said earlier, it's really weird to see them as low as they are. I mean, because they only had one roster change.
Yeah.
And, I mean, freeze for given, that is a big dynamic shift. I can see why it's going to take them a second to sort of get their balance back, because losing a voice that loud from your team is it's going to be a big adjustment. But I think that this team actually is stronger on paper, so I was a bit confused seeing how poorly they performed as well. But I think that they'll definitely be able to come back.
Yeah. I think like right now we're really within the well acceptable uh, time to kind of get your shit together. Like
Yeah.
we have such a massively new meta, like more new of a meta than we've ever seen. And pick ban right now is such a crazy system where like
I'm loving it.
yeah, like the pick
Yeah,
ban,
I'm
I'm
the
too.
pick
loving this
the
pick ban.
pick pool this week was just massive across all regions. And we're seeing stuff that like we just didn't see last split in competitive play. Like we can almost bring back Poppy Watch, even though it did get picked. I forget what region it got picked in, but it did get picked once. Um,
Probably China. They
it's
love
like she's buried at this point because you have like Echo, who I guess people made the mistake of thinking it's not a bannable offense, but when you have like Swain, when you have Vladimir, when you have all these different like picks you can put up
Maokai
there,
is stupid
Maokai,
right now.
like
with
it's
the Trundle, with the lack of
yeah,
being able to
it's
drop his
crazy.
ultimate, Trundle just blows through your top lane. That's why you can't
It's
pick
crazy.
Poppy, because Trundle will blow her out of lane.
It's so tough. It's so tough for people to actually like choose a pick ban strategy that's going to work. And that's where I think these best of series are working a little bit better in NA, because what we saw, especially out of like the G2 Origin game, was that G2 picked Fizz right out the gate and Perks destroyed on it. So Origin just picked it the next game. And
Yeah.
like that worked for them. They ended up losing the game, but like that is sort of a one-dimensional strategy where it's like, wow, that really worked for them. We're either going to stop it by banning it or by picking it. Whereas a best of three series, it gives you a little bit more chance to sort of develop it and also pick out crazier stuff in your game twos and game threes. But we'll get into NA in a second because we got to talk about the absolute bottom of the table first. Let's talk about Giants and let's talk about Origin. Giants is Giants. Like
Giants is exactly
great.
where we expected them.
Like there were a couple of brief moments where Giants did okay and like did some okay things. We talked about some of the early pickups in the Schalke series a lot. But otherwise, like it's still just not a great bottom of the tier team. Um, they are an upsetter for this European summer split. They can put ties into teams and make that be a very dangerous thing.
I think it's about time Giants
Gets the boot.
hangs up their coat. I mean, what was the one thing they had going for them? It was like the Spanish pride thing, and now they don't even have any Spaniards on their roster.
Yeah,
They're just a shitty team.
yeah.
Yep.
I don't know what they're supposed to do in a league that's as strong as this one is.
There always has to be that bottom of the table team.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's
And
just weird that it's
right
been
now-
the same. It's just weird that with a relegation tournament and a challenger scene that's trying to get in, it's just weird that the same bottom level team is still here
Right.
season after season.
Shows they're good enough to stay out of challenger, and that's it.
That's it. Yeah.
They're just good enough to stay out of challenger.
Well,
Go Red Sox.
let's talk about just. I
was
mean, like,
just gonna
there's nothing.
say
There's
such
nothing
a
to say about Origin that we haven't already
No.
said.
Yeah.
I'm willing to give
Moving
them.
on.
I'm willing to give them like a 1 week. This was pretty shitty. Next week we'll pick it up, but I'm not. I'm not counting on that happening too much.
I still am having trouble picturing in my head like SOAS and Forgiven on the same team.
It's so
Yeah,
weird.
Let's
dude.
see it fucking
So
blow up,
weird.
man. I'm excited for it.
Fist fight on the
Nothing
on
to do.
the
So as
stage. They lose
punches,
the game.
give it in the face.
Yeah.
That's
talk about-
that's the team where a fight happens on stage.
Let's talk about games we're looking forward to next week in Europe. um, before we finally move on. So I'll start out just to kind of get the conversation rolling. I think right now, one of the bigger games to watch, it may be less fun, but Vitality and Origin right now, like back last split, you would have said, like, this is going to be a great matchup. It's super important. But
Yeah.
right now, that's the same, just for the bottom. Like, one of these teams, they can't, like, neither team can afford a tie in this scenario. You really need the 2-0 and out to get those 3 points and start climbing back up that chain. And I just think it's going to be a big proving week for both teams. If Vitality can do another Origin-esque week and just like rock them entirely, then they'll be in pretty good shape. And if Origin can redeem themselves, um, that's a good team to do it against.
I think H2K Fnatic's going to be a really good
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the one I
Really
had
good
my eye
game.
on too.
day 2.
Any thoughts, Chris?
Mm.
Let's talk about the more fun region.
There's a lot of middle of the table games going on next week,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
so it's gonna shake stuff up more after
Yeah.
the.
If you're going to be excited about watching any team, be excited about Schalke, because like
Oh, definitely. They're actually pretty interesting.
yeah, like they're a fun team to watch, and the
Yeah.
crowd kind of can get behind Steve pretty quick. But man,
Oh yeah,
I got to tell you though, listening to how quickly the crowd turned on G2 and went for Origin in that first game of the 2 series. And then by the second game, they were just like, Origin, like, hey, G2, like, golf clap, like, okay, we got it. And then by the second series, G2 played that week. They're like, oh, yeah, fuck yeah, G2, I remember
They're
you're
like,
good.
oh right, I know we were supposed to hate you guys, but you're still the best
Yeah,
team
I
here.
There's
know,
still,
you're
there's
still
still
good.
people like looking at their symbol, being like, "Oh fuck, that's a samurai helmet."
Yeah.
Oh, I like you.
Oh, yeah. So I want to take a quick second before we head over to NA to welcome our new listeners coming into the Twitch channel for the first time. Welcome. We're here every week. My computer isn't melting anymore because I put in a new fan, so this should work pretty well.
What?
I do
All that
want
podcasting money.
No.
I do want to apologize to the Twitch listeners who had a brief moment uh, of silence because I ripped my headphone cord out of my computer and it shut off the volume for everybody else. But
I was wondering what that was. I
our
was like,
podcast,
oh,
our
Mutt
podcast
just
will be
died.
fine. Our podcast
Oh.
will be fine. But yeah, we'll be cool. And Blake, apparently, people think that you should be a hipster with black framed glasses, and not like the Katniss Everdeen that you are.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
just saying, like that's your next challenge.
Yeah. Well,
All right, let's talk about North America because it's so.
I was
much
trying to.
more
I was gonna make a
exciting.
joke about mainstream, but that's just too mainstream now, so I can't even make a mainstream joke.
Oh,
I
my
know
God,
that was
Blake.
pretty fucking meta.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
it's just how I do.
Man, speaking of meta, like we saw just it play out in so many fun ways. Like the pick bands in North America this week, just to kind of start off the conversation, were just crazy because like you saw so many more strategies be able to be developed throughout the week. Like we're seeing these top picks that we expected to be pick banned in almost every single game, and you don't see them get picked up because teams are flexing in all of these picks, and it's so much fun. We're gonna tear just like Europe. We're gonna tear right down the listing here. We're gonna start with Immortals.
Okay.
They're immortal.
they so they destroyed Phoenix 1, like everyone would have assumed, and then had a good series against C9 for especially the second game. But Blake was happy about that one.
Yeah, but it was a good series, not because it was great for Immortals, but just because it was probably the best series of both regions. I'd say it was just the closest series.
Yeah.
It was a really good series. Like Immortals had to fight for that. It wasn't like an easy win.
And I'm really glad that we're able to come into this new season and Immortals isn't just rolling over everything.
Yet.
Like, yet.
Um,
I'm hoping. I would say CLG is going to give them a run for their money. I'm hoping that, but I don't know.
well,
TSM will hopefully give them a run.
TSM will give them a run for their money. No, they're not going to be able to dominate like they did last split.
Maybe Envy will be tough.
Here's
Apex
what's-
might even be tough.
here's what is exciting though. Like they're still doing
Immortals things.
Yeah, they're still doing Immortals things, like picking Riven and top and doing pretty damn well with it.
Yeah.
Like, that's the kind of, and I think Ashe too. I think they were, well, Ashe was pretty big, 15 picks,
Yeah, Ash was picked all over.
all over the place. But like Immortals' brand last year was, hey, like we have like a really dominant play style that for some reason only we are doing right now, and we're just gonna play that out like Soraka, cool. Like we're gonna live here for a little bit.
Well, also best of ones too. Like they definitely
Yeah.
that edge in best of ones. They've definitely been less dominant in the best of threes.
Yeah, they took 4 games, 2-0 on Phoenix, if I'm correct.
Yeah,
And
they 2-0'd Phoenix 1.
That's not
Correct.
surprising though.
Or
Pretty
was it 5?
pretty dominant games actually.
Yeah.
They gave up some kills in the first game, but that was really just it didn't matter.
Right,
The fact that they gave up kills wasn't actually helping Phoenix 1 ever.
right. But I don't know. It's like it's pretty good to see Immortals sort of back on top. Definitely not high up on the overall charts in terms of like KDA or gold or anything. They're kind of a middle of the pack team.
Yeah. Their games have been really scrappy, yet
Yeah.
they've been holding leads and fighting all over.
Right.
Like if you guys haven't watched this series, or if you just need to watch one game, watch the Immortals C9 game 2. Like 14-35
Yeah.
C9.
There's
Like
blood.
It was
There's a
very
lot of
nutty.
bloodbath.
There's a
It
lot
was
of bloody
fun
games this
game.
week.
The whole, as we said already,
It was a
the
really
whole
fun
series
week.
was good. The
Yeah.
whole series was good.
Yeah. This is where the dual stream kind of sucks, because like you have games like that are going on where you really do kind of want to watch both. And if you switch over to the other stream just for a second, like by the time you get back and you're buffered, it's like, oh fuck, like I just missed a huge team fight. I hope they show a replay of that.
Yeah.
Like that, I don't know. It's
They've been
crazy.
pretty on point with replays though. I feel like.
Yeah, I mean
They've been
they're
replaying everything, which
it's
is nice.
definitely it's definitely a lot better, knowing that like I think they're doing a pretty okay being reticent to the fact that there are dual streams going on, but I think they could be doing a better job of like, for instance, they had a lot of pauses in Europe this week,
Yeah.
and
I felt like Europe wasn't as together as NA
it,
was.
it never is.
Yeah, it's a good
in
point.
performance.
They're
as
okay
well.
with ties, man. What can I say?
They're okay with worse
Yeah.
showings.
There were moments where they were like, okay, well, we're going to do the thing that we do during a pause, which is keep talking about new points, a new point, a new point, and here's this, and here's that. Where you could have just been over and said, hey, we're going to just pipe this over to the other stream right now, so like don't worry about it. And then when it comes back, like we'll bring it back. But this is something that Riot will work on over time. Like it's a new thing for them. Any final thoughts on Immortals before we move on?
Looking strong.
Yeah,
Yep.
I'm
It's going to
excited.
be super fun to watch.
Yeah, let's talk about another strong team. Let's talk about Envy.
Yes, let's talk
Nah.
about Envy.
Oh god!
I think at this
yeah.
point it's pretty much podcast favorite team.
So,
probably
for those
Well.
I've mentioned on the podcast before, but for those of you that don't know, the new team Envious, their starting AD carry Laud is actually like a close personal friend of mine who I've grown up with, named Ben, and so he's worked for many years to get into the LCS, 6 years actually since he was like 12, and he's finally made it, and he's kicking fucking ass.
Just
So-
to put some numbers behind that, highest KDA in North America currently, and actually in Europe too, if you want to count it, at 15.7, followed only by Hans
Yeah.
at 11.
He's come to play. I mean, he's been in the challenger scene for so long. He's kind of the perfect storm because he's still young. He's only 19. He's got more drive than I've ever seen from anybody because he wants to prove that he deserves to be in LCS. And so he came and he's got no nerves anymore because he's played on stage multiple times and he's done big things. So it's like he's coming in and he just doesn't die and he's just really good. He's just showing why he should be there and why he should have been there a long time ago.
Yeah, and it's cool to see him do that on a new team where he can really be a standout player, and
He's-
actually really perform well.
He's really gotten lucky with being picked up by Envious, I think, because it is a team of young guys that are hungry.
Yeah.
That's what it seems very much. It's just a young, hungry team that wants to do well.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got Hakuho in support. You've got Lod
Hakuho is a
ADC.
monster. Like that guy has. Oh, his karma is so disgusting.
Seraph in top, Proxen in the jungle, and Ninja in mid. I mean, this is the shambles of what was TDK as they were
And Tip, because Proxen rolling over.
Yeah.
I really think this MV team got super lucky from all that, being able to grab Proxen from Tip and then Seraph and Ninja and Hakuo from Renegades.
Right. And I think
Well, and then too, also Ben just bitch slapped Piglet around too. Like he just really showed him what it was like to AD carry too. Like that's where it was so amazing watching this. Is like Piglet is a world class AD carry. He is a world champion. And lost some 19-year-old from Canada that just bitch slapped the shit out of him.
OQ's no slouch either, right? And he absolutely demolished both of them.
Just showed him what it was like to actually AD carry, which is just crazy for some random no-name North American AD carry to just show up 2 world champions. Like
both Ben and Hakuho, I think, are really going to define themselves as being a very formidable bot lane. Who can hold up against. I'm very excited to see them play against CLG, for example, because Stixay Afro that's going to be a very fun game to watch.
Oh yeah. It will be very fun because Stixay, in my opinion, is the other kind of new North American AD carry that's just super talented.
We're getting excited about this. We're getting very excited about this team because it's obviously we got a friend of the podcast on it, and they had a very great 2-0 week. But it was a relatively easy week when we now know how weak NRG is now, and how weak Team Liquid is now as well.
Well, they have Apex next week, which
is going to be a good game, I think. Yeah.
Apparently, Apex is a tough one.
And then Phoenix won, right?
Yeah, which is whatever.
But then the weekend after that, I think they're facing I think it's CLG Immortals.
Yeah, that's going to be. Well, it could be a tough one. CLG's at the bottom of the table right now.
It's CLG Immortals for week 3.
I'm trying to temper our expectations, but at the same time, to counter that, they've only been together for 3 fucking weeks.
Yeah,
it's nuts. It seriously looks like they've been together forever.
One thing you've got to keep in mind is that unlike Apex and unlike Phoenix One, kind of the Schalke effect or Schalke effect. This is like a legit organization that's got money. They've got talent. They've dealt with other competitive esports games where they know how to handle these players. They know how to treat them. They know how to make them feel, and they know how to be successful. So having a 2-0 week to get started is a huge confidence boost, and it's going to be great going for them. But speaking of fucking confidence boosts, Chris,
TSM,
tell me everything you know about Team Solo Mid right now.
they actually look amazing. Like their games were incredibly fun to watch. They bodied DSM or CLG, straight up just bodied the shit out of them. Hanser decided to just show Darshan how to play Echo. Apparently, is what happened. But in all reality, though, CLG was on the patch for this point for 1 week, and TSM has been on it for 4 weeks. So once I think CLG actually catches up to the meta, I think they'll be fine. But this is a massively different meta than MSI. Yeah. And that's what they were focused on for so long that it's natural for them to get dumpstered this week. I was honestly kind of expecting it. I mean, TSM, they had a lot to prove with this series too. Like they really from what happened with the finals, they really wanted to show CLG that they were worth fighting. And if you watch Legends too, that's what they said. They said that they were pretty happy with CLG at MSI because it was a close series. Yeah. But they were expecting CLG to get dumpstered, so they were feeling pretty bad about it because they're like, wow, we couldn't even beat CLG. And CLG's probably going to get dumpstered at MSI. But then when CLG basically only loses to SK Telecom, TSM's like, oh, shit, dude. We're actually pretty good, I guess. And they showed it. And Biofrost played out of his mind. Yeah. Biofrost was the perfect addition because, his ults, his Nami ults, he's just super on par. And you can tell, the reactions he's doing, those are not shot called. He's just doing what needs to be done. And I think that's what Doublelift needed was instead of somebody that's trying to actually make the shot calls, to just have somebody make the reactionary play very quickly and properly, and Doublelift will do well off it. And Doublelift did really good this week, too.
Right.
So, and Hanser, oh my god, Hanser. So it's just TSM, I actually would say, is a terror. This will be a very interesting split to see what happens between Envy, TSM, CLG, and Immortals. I think it'll be very interesting to see how four
And I
of
think C9's going to make a case as well.
C9 too, but like I didn't want to see more than 4, and C9 would be the 5th out of that, depending on their new thing. But C9, of course, you can't discredit C9.
I think like right now, what is so good about Biofrost is that he isn't this storied support who has his own like play style. He's someone who can come in, who can have the respect of Double Lift to kind of say like, okay, we're going to learn how to play together, and we're going to like, I'm going to pick up on your style because that's what Double Lift needs. He needs to be in the driver's seat, and like Yellowstar is a great player, but his play style is let Double Lift alone, and I'm going to go and create terror everywhere else in the map. Biofrost was fucking. First of all, he played 4 different.
His karma was so good too. His karma, his Nami. Oh my god,
speeds you up, go,
seriously,
go.
Pain train.
And just get everybody in there. And like you're right, his Nami outs were crazy because they were more like they're not playmaking focused, they're support focused. The casters picked that up very well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like this is a great meta for Bjergsen as well because you can't ban out the mid lane. Like,
yeah, well, Bjergsen was also never a weak link. It was just the synergy between all of them.
You could
like
shut
he
him
did,
down.
you didn't,
like
you didn't, yeah, you could, but he wasn't the weak link of the team clearly.
No.
And like Sven Skarian's been doing really well.
Yeah, he had really.
But also with Biofrost, what I learned too from again watching Legends was that he's been a sub and has traveled with the team for about a year or so.
Yeah, yeah.
So like they're already kind of know the dude. But,
right.
like, apparently he just dominated in tryouts. Yeah. So it's like, all right, apparently this guy is kind of this, like, you know, the ace in the hole that kind of TSM always had, but didn't feel like he was ready to be used yet because he's kind of inexperienced. And I think they were concerned about what he would do on stage, and clearly the dude has no issues being on stage. He slaughtered CLG.
Yeah, I mean, it's just super exciting for TSM right now.
Oh, yeah, because, like, I forgot to mention, too, because, like, not only did he go against the support, he went against Aframu, who's arguably the best that North America has ever really produced. Like, Double Lift and Aframu are two of the best that North America has ever
have to say, Aframu's, like, Bard game against TSM, he was going fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And that
He's still God.
I'm pretty sure that was the game where the team icons and the stats overlay was switched. So I would come back to that game and be like, oh my fucking god, like what happened to TSM? Like they're getting rocked down. It's like, oh no, that is just the reverse, like TSM's still up. But yeah, it's great. And if you didn't catch it, Travis did on he writes for Yahoo now, which is weird. But they did a video interview with Double Lift right after the LCS where they talk about like dynamic queue and some other boring stuff. But Aframu just totally like sneaks into that interview and they kind of go back and forth on each other, and it's a great watch. Obviously still like a little bit of a friendship there and at least just like a mutual professional respect, and it's a ton of fun to watch if mutual professional respect is saying like, yeah, fuck you for beating me to get into
they're both incredible and they know it, and it's made the rivalry just that much better because now it's just like Aframu's the star of CLG now, and Double Lift is a star. Not necessarily the star, but definitely a star of TSM.
Right.
But all around good series, though.
Right. Let's talk about Apex, who also had some pretty good series going again against CLG and against Energy for a perfect 2-0 week. A lot kind of interesting with this team. So this is St. Vicious's team. This is a very scrappy week for them. Like the win against CLG was very hard. I think that was a 3-game series, right?
Yeah, full 3 games.
Right, which was pretty tough for them to pull out. But, man, I think we could go into a lot of depth on just that series. But a much more convincing set against Energy. It's kind of hard to tell really how they're going to place within the rest of the group right now because we do sort of need to see them against some higher tier teams. I think even though CLG is expected to be up there eventually, this week they definitely weren't. So it's sort of hard to say like, well, they beat CLG, like they must be great. It's just not a great thing. But like great performances out of Keen this week. Ray as well did pretty okay in some games, but I don't know. Like I think it's a pretty good start for them. getting.
I'm
Ray
really
had a-
happy with how they're looking. I mean, they're coming
I-
right out of Challenger. Yeah.
Yeah,
for sure. With the pickup was especially with the kind of shuffle that they did coming in.
right.
With they had jungler troubles because they were going to run Shrimp and Eve, but Eve isn't able to play anymore.
Right.
And then Ray's that they had Chris all the way through Challenger, and then
Right.
they picked up Ray right before.
But so they have Shrimp, Keen, Apollo, Xpecial. Xpecial did pretty well, like 0-1 and 22 in one of the games against Energy on Braum. Like, he's a great player, and it's great to see him back in the LCS. But I think Apex still has a very long way to go to really cement themselves within the layout here. I see them kind of just like when you sort of look at that top level. I definitely see them as a contending playoffs team. Because Fox had some slip ups this week. Obviously, like Phoenix right now and Energy are really in the dumps. So it's kind of that like, are they going to be seventh or are they going to be sixth? That sort of becomes the big question. Because you do kind of have to like, you got to put Cloud9 up there. You got to put CLG, even though statistically right now they're not that great.
It is such a tough split to call. Like,
right?
There are so many good teams.
You can't call it after this week.
No, I don't even think we're going to be able to call it halfway through.
I think we'll get a better sense.
We'll have a better sense, but it's
like
going to be a
2
nail
weeks
biter
in.
right up to the end, I think.
I think
Oh,
it is
for
too,
sure.
which makes it so much more exciting.
Yeah,
I know. I'm excited for both NA and EU this year,
right.
or this split.
I'm super hyped up about Echo Fox because like Froggen was looking pretty good this week. They took a win over Phoenix One, which is kind of like the default now, and just like a really close series with Cloud9. I feel like that Cloud9 series could have gone either way.
I came in late to that Cloud9 series, and why was Froggen playing tank Echo top? And then
Yeah, they went
KFO
for
was
a
playing
role
Vlad
switch.
mid.
Yeah,
I was very confused by all that. I got
KFO
in,
is
like-
amazing, though. He does play pretty well.
He does play pretty well, but I guess one of the big questions is why can't we put Vlad top?
You can.
Because every single time I've been seeing him play, they've been putting him mid. And even this time, they swapped him with Froggen to get Echo top.
I think there are better power picks that you can put up in top right now, and like unless you can grab maybe like an Azir, I think not even Victor is as good of a pickup because they're both kind of like sustained damage as opposed to a burst, Vlad and Victor. So like, I feel like you put him in mid so you can put like a tank Echo or a tanky Maokai, and then just be able to have an unstoppable front line.
Well,
that
that's
can
the
just
thing that
tear
I
shit
was
apart.
kind of... So in the last game against C9 that I was watching, they had the chance to take Swain and Vlad. And I feel like if you took if Froggen took Swain mid and KFO took Vlad top, you'd still have they'd both, like, it's not high damage, but they're both still very tanky. And I feel like they could run with how OP they are right now, you could run a front line with just them.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, people have.
Yeah, I mean, it may just not be, it may just be them not being fully used to the meta yet. Like, that's kind of one thing we have to sort of take for granted is that, like, or at least take with a grain of salt, if I could use any more amount of metaphors. I think that's what those are. Is that, like, just because we can kind of take a step back and say, like, well, this is how this whole week's worth of meta played out. Like, let's really analyze this decision. When you go into it, like, it's not, you don't have a perfect strategy put out yet. And I think, like, I say hats off to you, Echo Fox, for putting Froggen in the top lane. Because worst case scenario, you have 2 games to fuck it up.
No, you don't. You don't
That
say
was-
that.
That
You
was
don't
game
say
2. They rolled that out game 2.
Yeah.
You don't
which-
say hats off to that.
No, I'm saying, like,
you can't
you
say that
gotta,
with a straight face. No, you don't.
It's super early. It's super early in the season, number one. Number 2, it's best of 3 series. Like, you got to be willing to take a risk, and you got to be willing to try something crazy.
This is the point this is the point in the split where you need to create a stable base and get your team synergized and proper and well and good and make sure you're playing well before you start doing crazy ass shit like that. No, you can't say that with a straight face. There's no way. They should
still
be
think
fucking
it's
role
good.
swapping right now.
I
Maybe
think it was-
later.
I think it was Origin against G2 who tried like the dumbest Baron call in the world. And I'm watching it and I'm like, this is a terrible idea. The casters are like, this is a really bad idea. I don't know why they're going with this. But then I thought about it. No, it was Giants actually. I think it was Giants against Schalke. They like sent their top laner bottom to distract all of Schalke, and then all of a sudden they took Baron in like 2 seconds. And it's like you would never try that in a regular game because worst case scenario you can't kill Baron fast enough.
That is not
and
the
you
same
lose
thing.
your top laner.
Mod,
No,
that is not the same thing.
It is totally the same thing because you're making like questionable calls to see if it gets you an advantage. And like, yeah, it didn't work out for them in this series, but you gotta be able to like try shit. That's
like
what
that
we
was
want.
That was some like season 1 shit that they did.
All right. Well, listen,
I do still think KFO's Fiora has been I was not expecting a Fiora to be coming into the meta at all, and KFO has been doing it.
I think there's some pocket picks there that are still pretty damn good, and that like Fiora is one of those. Mortal Show's Riven could be one of those.
I think, as I said last split, that I was really excited for Echo Fox, and I still am because I think they have a lot of. I mean, Keith in that Korean boot camp, he was like number 1 ranked by any of the North American people over there by like a mile.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you guys see his reset though? By the way, on Sivir.
Oh my god, that blow up! That was essentially a one shot.
That was dirty.
He flashes.
He flashed, auto attacked, W'd, immediately auto attacked afterwards with Sivir, and just basically immediately sent out 2 auto attacks with 1 animation and just one shot Ezreal.
The replay gets the slowdown, so dirty. You can actually see like the little blade and the bouncing blade going towards him.
And it just immediately kills him.
2 hits and it just fucking pops.
It's like, as an Ezreal player, I was like, oh my god, that pain. I feel so much pain for that.
He is a seriously good player.
Yeah.
He really is, especially after the Korean boot camp too. It's like you could really see that dude's play went from being like a good solo queue player to, holy shit, this guy could actually be a really good AD carry.
Yeah.
In the long run.
Yeah. No, I definitely think he's like a good fosterable talent, and Fox is a good place to do that. Next week they have Energy and they have Liquid, 2 teams we have yet to talk about because they are very low down on the standings.
They should 2-0 that weekend.
Yeah, definitely. That's not going to be hard at all.
That could be a really good confidence weekend, but you know those games aren't going to last forever because they've got right after that they've got Immortals, and then who else are they playing? They're playing CLG, so it's going to be a tough. Like they've got a pretty easy schedule kind of walking into this series. And they're going to be hitting some hard times. So maybe less lane swaps. I'll give you that. Maybe a little bit more wins in their column. But 1-1, not a bad start. Cloud9, on the other hand, also.
Hold on a second, just one moment.
Oh, he's going to put his hat on. This is why you come up to the Twitch.
To get a little bit more comfortable there.
He doesn't have the black frame glasses that you want, but he's got the Cloud9 hat that you deserve.
He's so hot right now.
He is so hot right now.
Blake's trending so hard.
Okay, so Cloud9, they're coming into this split with like a totally new roster, basically.
Is it though?
Yes. Yes, it is. Are you kidding me?
It's not like...
They got a new support, a new jungle, and a new top laner. That's a new
jungler, Meteos.
Yeah, no. Meteos hasn't been on the stage in a long time. Meteos was looking real bad by the time he left, so putting Meteos back in almost seemed pretty desperate. Losing High is a huge deal. Different top laner is a big deal. Like pretty much the only 2 consistents is Sneaky and Jensen.
Yeah,
that's
don't worry. Team. We're going to talk about desperate junglers when we get down to Liquid. So
now,
put a pin in that one.
C9 is coming into this split. No one's expecting bad things from them.
Nope.
But they're not expecting the best necessarily, but people are all saying that there is potential there, and there absolutely is. We're seeing that this weekend. It's kind of like a Fnatic kind of thing. They played against Immortals, and they played against Fox this weekend. As we already said about the Immortals series, it was like a really close series. Each game, honestly, could have gone either way. Each game was very long. And just very bloody, and they lost out by not prioritizing Drakes mainly, and making some weird rotational plays, and just their voice seemed a little confused. But then they would come back. I mean, the main thing we can look at with C9 right now is that this format change, the best of threes, is really going to suit them well. They've always been a good series team, and there's no difference here. In the Fox series, for example, they lost that first game, but they came back in that second game and won. It was a hard-fought win, but then by the third game, like no one can say that that third game against Fox wasn't a complete slap. It was. They were so confident, their play was so calculated, and their calls were very concise, and it was just they had a strong voice again. But there are some things, as I said, they need to work on. There's some clear things they need to work on, but they're not things they can't fix. They really need to work on their dragon control. They gave up way too many Drakes. Their turret rotations need to be worked on. In some of the games, they only got like 2 or 3 towers down.
Right.
They need to work on taking their early game leads and transitioning them into something for the mid game, because almost every game they played, they would get a pretty decent early, they would do well in the early game. They would either have a lead or stay even. But when they had that lead, they would have trouble transitioning it and continuing that ball rolling. And that's why it was so nice seeing that in the Echo Fox third game, because they had trouble with that in the second game. So they lost the first game. The second game, they got an early lead. And then there was a big period in the middle of the game where they just weren't really doing anything. But they pulled that out. And in the third game, they got the early lead, and then they also just transitioned that right into the mid lane and just kept going. And that was really good to see. Everyone's performing at an extremely high level. Impact on his Maokai is fucking insane. He's showing why he was a world champ, top laner.
Meteos is crazy, right? I haven't seen Impact do anything in a long time, and it was like, oh wow, he's doing a lot of things.
I think he's much more confident. I think he's comfortable.
Wasn't he the worst top laner statistically last split? Like as a gold. Yeah, he was one of, so I was definitely questionable, and I was very impressed by that. So, sorry, anyway, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah, no worries. I'm going to go through, I'll just go through in order. Meteos, you guys are saying that Meteos is back, is basically all I really need to say. He was a fucking monster this whole weekend. Even the games they lost, he did really well. His vision control is nuts. C9 as a team has really good vision.
A monster with vision control, and he played Rek'Sai. Hey-oh.
Hey, his Rek'Sai was really good though. Meteos is showing that, because a lot of people think that Meteos retired, but he didn't. He just took a step away from the team because he wasn't meshing with them anymore. He never wanted to retire, and he's back now, and he's showing why he was so popular before. He played really well this weekend. Jensen is obviously still insane. He's doing really well. Sneaky is always going to be that consistent performer that we know him to be. And arguably, Sneaky might even be one of the weaker parts of this team, which is kind of weird to say, just because...
that is weird, because I did want to ask your opinion on the fact that they swapped out their 2...
Yeah, that's why I left them for last. So what's interesting about C9 and differentiates them from the rest of the teams in North America is they're doing a thing where they're switching their supports back and forth between Bunny Fufu and Smoothie.
Which we did crucify them for last split when it was High and Bunny.
It was, but more so last split because High.
That's an awesome noise.
I don't know how I did that. That was like an animal came out of me.
Grab that for me, Ryan, and just send that to me.
The reason why we crucified them so much last split was because High was like an obvious band-aid. Like, this isn't working, throw High back in, emergency. Yeah. Whereas this split, they're not doing that. They didn't throw High in anytime this weekend, at least.
I guess I'm worried because, like, my big thing with not having the guy for support is, as that support player, like, that affects your confidence. Like, fuck, like, I might, if I don't do my best, I'm gonna get screwed, and I'm not gonna be able to play the next game. Then that makes you scared, and like Sneaky's not necessarily like a let's play scared kind of.
I think that Meteos is kind of going to supplement that confidence and inject it back into this team. I think that, no, they don't have High, but that's where the question marks came in as to how good are they going to be this split. It's because they don't have High. But what we saw this weekend is that they still without High, they still have incredibly high potential. What's interesting to see about these two supports, though, is that Smoothie played Karma every game.
Yeah.
And when he played Karma, that was when Sneaky would play like mobile 80 carries. He played, I believe, Lucian one game, and then who was his other? Hang on a sec here. Sivir twice. Sivir twice and Lucian one game. So he plays mobile ADCs with Smoothie when Smoothie plays Karma. And then when Bunny Fufu plays, he plays... who did he play? Bard twice and Braum once. And then that's when Sneaky plays his less mobile champions. He played Caitlyn once, and he played Ashe twice.
So I guess, like, the big question that I have with these subs is that on C9's official, like, this is our roster, they have both iterations of Cloud9, the split and last, listed there. So they have, in addition to the players who played this week, they have Balls, High, Altec, and Rush still on the bench, which means that in any best of three scenario, they could run any of those players.
I don't think they're going to.
A small, quick question that I don't know if we touched on before or not, but why did... I know they wanted to bring Impact in, but why did they give Rush the boot again, essentially, to subs? Because he's played really well this last split, so I was curious why they...
They're fostering a challenger team to better the talent pool there.
Yeah, but that doesn't make sense
really,
to throw
really
Rush, like a really good jungler, into a challenger.
They don't have enough import slots.
I know, that's what I was curious. Why would you replace essentially Impact for...
Balls.
Well, I guess Balls, yes, but you're basically putting the two... Last split, you're putting the two lowest top lane... the top laners essentially being like, well, we're going to get rid of Rush for one of these. Like,
I think the answer is they had confidence in Meteos when other people didn't.
Okay, good enough.
They
That's
thought,
a perfect answer.
They knew Meteos could perform, and that Meteos still was really good, and they knew that Balls was their weakest point. And I think that, as I said earlier, they needed that injection of confidence, and I think Meteos brings that to the team because he is a veteran, and he was a huge deal. And coming into this weekend, he played super confident.
That's good. I think there's also a small part of Rush that's kind of getting excited at the fact that, like, sometimes when I play Lee Sin, it does not work out because other teams we play are really good. I'm going to go to where all the worst players are. I'm going to go to Challenger and be a fucking god amongst men and just, like, Lee Sin board hop around the map.
That's what he likes, though. That's what helps him sleep well.
Tear people apart. And you know what? He's not making any less money.
That's fair.
Cloud9's got it. They've got a huge roster. They're paying everybody.
Yeah.
They're like,
I know
we're going to let Meteos play this one. And he's like,
I know that I just took a lot of time with C9, but they are a team that there's just a lot going on with them right now, and they're worth looking at.
Yeah.
Because they had so many changes.
Let's supplement that with just a really quick discussion on some of the other teams that we have left. Energy, Phoenix One. Really two, like, not super
bottom
teams right now. Like,
Energy is a surprise though because they got Quas, they got Santorin, they got OQ, they got GBM, they got Quas. OQ, GBM, Quas. That's all you have to say on paper, and I would say that's a great team.
That
you
is
say
what
that,
was
but
expected,
Quas has been out for a split.
I do, I know.
Played. He
He
hasn't been. I don't know if he's been playing a lot on solo queue, but it's not like I've been seeing a ton from him.
I had no idea, by the way, that Otter was a sub there. I love me some Otter. I wonder where Body Drop is at this point, but that's cool. I didn't know that they were a sub.
And this is what I was like. I was talking to some friends. I was like, this is what NRG did. Is they just grabbed a bunch of big name people, and they're like, we're gonna put them on our team, and we're gonna be well known for it. Doesn't matter if we're good. We've got all the names.
We're gonna have hype,
We're gonna have all the hype.
We got GBM, we got Quas, we got Santorin, we got OHQ, and we got Kiwi. Like, let's just destroy all of this. And by destroy, you mean literally burn the ground that you're standing on.
They just looked so bad. They just looked so lost. They just looked so bad. Odin, like, Quas. On paper, obviously, I see Quas, and he was one of my favorite players back when he used to be on Liquid. I used to think he was a fucking god. And seeing him this weekend broke my little heart.
He's not as good as he was. He's really...
And his hair, I know.
I didn't recognize him at first. It's like, who is that? Oh, that's Quas. What? Okay.
I think this...
They should be so good, too, like, on paper, and it's just, like, they flop so hard. Like, GBM used to be...
Is this the new TSM?
Actually. Well, in the sense of, like, they all used to be very good players that clearly have no synergy whatsoever together.
There we go. Ding, 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 TSM.
That's fair. Okay.
I guess I kind of expected this out of Kiwi Kid. Not going to lie. Like, I didn't expect
Santorin.
Santorin's been okay. Like,
But he hasn't been great.
Right. I don't know. Like, it's one of those things where I feel like this is a team that's going to figure shit out like halfway through the split and get a couple of upset matches in there. But in a best of three, like that's not enough anymore because you might get a upset match.
Energy's the
But-
team that wants best of twos.
Yeah, you gotta get a lot more out of that, and you got a long way to go. Energy. Phoenix won. Like I don't even want to really talk about them this week because they had such a bad showing, such a rough time, that I think we need to see them play some other sort of less difficult teams because like Immortals, like you're not going anywhere with that, and Echo Fox, like that's still, I mean that's a team you should have maybe done a little bit better against, but it's still kind of a rough win. Like let's see them pair up against Energy and kind of see if they can kind of continue to burn out. They got Cloud9 next week and they've got Envy, so those are two pretty tough matches. But let's talk about sort of our two. I mean, CLG. Like, we'll just start there. Do we want to say anything about them? Like, this is.
Well, I'll just do the quick rundown on it and essentially LCS rundown on it. We got shit on. We had all of our focus on MSI. Everyone else had their focus on the first week of LCS. Yeah, we spent 3 of those 4 weeks that TSM's been practicing essentially trying to beat SK Telecom on a very old patch. Everybody else spent a lot of time practicing it. Like CLG will probably get adjusted to the meta, probably do really well. Boom.
I'm playing a normal-sized violin for your sadness and how CLG got dumped on.
On our first 2 games.
They got blown out.
On the other hand, if
I'd take that over actually winning the fucking split.
If this was swapped, and it was TSM who got dumped on, you'd be like, boo, like TSM,
we'd be
still
shitting
suck.
all over you.
I mean, like I think CLG is going to turn it around for sure. Like they've got a pretty interesting week next week to do it. They've got Liquid, who looks like garbage now, and we'll round off the episode with that. And they've got Cloud9, so like they've got an opportunity to take it. But I ask the question, did we like CLG a little bit too much and now they have performance anxiety? Like,
no.
This is the CLG.
No, not at all. What are you talking about? They didn't look anything like they looked at MSI. Like, not even close. Darshan teleported into an Ash Arrow and died.
You know
when has he ever done that before?
Because people like them now. They're like,
what the fuck are you talking about?
Oh,
like,
God.
They've been like for actually quite some time. You're just on the other side of the coin flip and don't ever see it because when actually they're a really fucking good team.
This passion.
They are a good team.
I love this fire.
They are, and they're going to get better. But this is the fun thing about CLG. When you start like believing in them, that's when they disappoint you the most.
Okay, so what has the last year been? CLG disappointing us. They got second in MSI, beat the shit out of TSM in finals, and they lose the first week of LCS. Much like, oh, CLG shit again.
Sprinkler, he's just fucking with you. He's just fucking with you. CLG is still going to be a top tier team. He just had a bad week.
You might want to talk to your doctor about the sodium
TSM
content.
Fans right there for you. It's like, no. Nah, dude, you're a CLG fan long enough. It's like, oh yeah, dude, just sweep it under the rug, forget about it in 3 weeks.
So I guess like the other risk that we run is maybe this is the TSM of spring, where it's like, no, like it was just a bad week. Like week 5, you guys, it's just been a bad week. Like it's just one more bad week, and everything's gonna turn
Don't
around.
let him get under your skin, buddy.
By week 8, you're like, oh god.
Think about how much we've ripped on him.
Remember, you have a red button that ends call.
Yeah. Let's at least talk about a team we can all kind of rally around and like just actively dislike.
Actively all shit on Liquid,
which is just Liquid.
Okay,
right
whoa,
now.
you can't say you dislike Liquid.
I can.
Well, I it's like
I dislike.
Like, well, what? They're just kind of throwing a lot of stuff behind them. It's just, this whole Dardoch thing is weird. They're like, yeah, we're just straight up removing him because he's toxic, and then they're like, no, actually, we're gonna sub him in because
this showed some.
And then he's the only person that did okay on the team, and everybody Phoenix just was like, hey guys, we're gonna have a Thanksgiving dinner on my dead corpse's Victor. Like,
but so just to give everybody a little bit of context as to what happened this past week. So previously, Liquid came out and basically said like, "Hey, we're subbing out Dardoch, who is a great reason as to why Liquid did as well as they did last split. We're putting him on the bench for like behavior issues.
Got in a fight with Piglet.
Probably got into a fight with Piglet. There was also kind of a lot of other rumors that the attitude within Liquid right now is pretty bad. Like it's not a great place to be as like a
Shit,
team.
that's just management too. When you have 10 fucking people on your team and you're like, "Hey, we can replace you at any time." It's like that's not gonna make things happy as a team environment. That's
for sure.
clusterfuck.
But like the mixed message basically that now Liquid has put out is that after their first series against Envy, they brought back Dardoch against TSM.
Yeah. Because he had been unbanned for multiple weeks at this time. His suspension was up. Or they released a statement saying it's just like, no,
maybe
you were just like, oh fuck, we've lost 3 games in a row with Moon,
and maybe Moon was
we tried
like,
Moon's not good.
Let's
I hate to
hold
say
on.
it.
Let's take a look at TL just objectively here for a second. They're in rough shape. They're not looking so hot right now. Moon, their new jungler, yes, he is looking like trash.
He did some pretty like really bad plays against TSM.
He's getting
I'm just gonna
fucked.
walk into this bush.
Now, their early game though, aside from Moon, is still looking decent because they still have decent laners. But what happens is now when they come together after laning phase, they just completely lose their fucking minds and they look so jumbled. It's unbelievable. Dardoch, I suppose, was the main sort of voice on that team we're now seeing, and without that, although he came in and they played better with. Okay, fuck. We'll get to that.
Oh,
we can see that Team Liquid is trying really hard to sort of. They want Piglet to carry them. They want Piglet and Matt to make their team work, and they know they're saying to themselves like, I think I can. Piglet, you're a fucking beast. Piglet, I think we could do this. And they try really hard to fucking make plays for Piglet, but they try too hard and then they fuck up because they're as I said in rough shape. And then Moon, he's like, I'll back you up, guys. And then Moon's like, oh fuck, I just got blown out, guys. But keep trying. And then the coach, Loco Doco, comes out and he goes, fuck, shit, fuck. But Dardoch,
we were playing TSM.
Dardoch, come over here quickly. Dardoch, I'm sorry about that post we made about you saying that you were. What was the word they used? What was the word they used to describe insolence or something? It was
I forget. Like I skimmed over that.
Insubordination was the word they used.
I think he ditched. I think what it was he ditched on like a practice or something like that.
Dardoch, fuck what we said about. Fuck what we said about that insubordination thing. You come on in because Moon's a dumpster fire, and then maybe you can make bottom lane work for us because Piglet's a fucking world-class AD carry, and I fucking love Piglet. You're going to carry for us, right? And then Piglet's just sitting down there being like, I can't. I fucking can't.
I went to Worlds.
I can't do this. This is terrible. And Matt had a really poor weekend, and that's basically where we're sitting right now.
I mean, I do have to say, when Dardoch came in on the TSM game 2 of TSM, his Lee Sin at first was pretty scary. Like, he was making moves, but TSM's ability just to, like, double lift. Biofrost wasn't the best part in the world. He had some pretty bad decisions early on, but got better as the game progressed. Like, that game didn't go particularly well for them. But there was a second where I was like, oh, shit, like, Dardoch is really good. Like, they might take this game. They might take it to 3.
I am so disappointed. I mean...
once I saw that Liquid was getting rid of him, was like,
I was so excited for Liquid this split because they were looking so good at the end of last one, and it's just seeing this and just seeing. It's not like like we can say about CLG, like okay, no, they're having a bad weekend. They'll come back. Like Team Liquid right now is just looking fucking lost.
Yeah.
And that's just such a big disappointment because they were looking so together last split. I think I was very vocal about how I think they should have been in the finals. They had to just fucking ban the Echo. Ban the Echo!
Just ban the Echo and
ban it! Ban it all!
Let's wrap up this week by taking a look at the next for North America. Big games that you guys want to see this week. I am going to put definitely up there at the top. Liquid versus CLG.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense.
See,
Actually, that's
which
Yes,
team's going
because
to
we'll
turn
see
around?
I think it's going to be CLG that's going to turn around, and this is going to
Mm.
be the beginning of that hype up for them. And I think it is going to. It's like Liquid has the opportunity. Like, okay, you've got Dardoch back. You like this is the core that worked before. Like, rediscover something, and maybe they have that opportunity to take it off of CLG, who's still kind of trying to pick up their momentum. But overall, like I think this is one of those two teams' chance to really like pump it up, and I think that makes it an exciting matchup.
Apex
So,
Envy would be.
yeah, I was about to say Apex
Yeah, that's a
Envy
good one.
and then TSM Immortals.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
that is
TSM Immortals is going to be
Oh
really
yeah,
good.
fuck.
both the
Fuck yeah.
TSM's games against Apex and against Immortals is really going to cement exactly where TSM is right now. Because like Apex was looking pretty hot, but if TSM can like really body them and do significantly well against what is a strong lineup, then we're going to feel a lot better. And again, if they can do that against Immortals, um, you're in pretty good shape moving forward.
Yep.
But that is going to do it for us here at the LCS Rundown. You can always join us every week on Mondays, 9 p.m., 9:15ish Eastern Time, right on twitch.tv/TForce Podcast. Of course, you can always hop over to our Reddit to see all of our other shows. You get great shows like the GG, T-Force Proper, Forwards. You got Hearth of the Stones. There's so much going on within the network, and you really should check it out. And if you want to support all that lovely free content, of course, head over to patreon.com/TForce Network and discover how you can keep us in, I guess, not business because it's not really a business.
Keep us in your hearts and in your ears
And in your wallets.
and in your minds and in your brains.
Just a little Mackinac.
And in your heads too.
Taking the pennies out of your wallet one by one. Just beep, 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 grabbing them. Yeah, so that's it. We're out. See you next week.
Good night.
Bye-bye, everybody.
See ya.